Yo, still, man, what's the deal, man? Yo, I got another day off work, man. I done had 3 days out of the 4 off this week. I'm pissed about that, man. I don't even feel right as no man. You know what I'm saying? Having that many days off in a row, that shit is tragic. But peep game, man. Since I am off, I'm running some errands and shit, man. So while I'm in the process of doing that, I'm gonna talk to the homies, the twos and fews that fuck with me, man. Man, I'm all for calling out motherfuckers on the, on their bullshit. I'm all about calling out, in particular, white people. I'm all about calling them motherfuckers out on their bullshit. Not even now. I'm all for it. I will completely sever ties with somebody who was just completely disrespectful to me and mine. As far as, say no more. My hand's a little ashy, but yeah, you know what I'm getting at. I'm all for that. I'm definitely all for that. I've done it before. I've cut motherfuckers off before. I've lost people. I've lost friends who just can't, my ideologies have become very uncomfortable with theirs. So they just got to go ahead and sever ties with me, and I'm all the way cool with that. It is what it is, man. So as far as this, I'm seeing what, how Eddie Hearn is being attacked or whatever the case may be. Now, granted, I do want to say this. We are a sensitive people. And considering everything that we've been through in this country, we have every right to be as sensitive as we are. Everything that we've been through in this country, and those actions have yet to be rectified. You should walk on eggshells about what it is that you say to us. There are certain phrases and sloganisms and comparisons that people make that immediately speak to our plight here in America. So you should walk on eggshells when you speak to us. You should be mindful about what it is that you say to us. Definitely. I'm 150% in agreement with that. I don't think Eddie Hearn was meaning that shit to be facetious, though, in that manner, or bigoted. I honestly don't. I honestly don't. Because I didn't see anything wrong with what he said. Had he said some shit like that about an Anthony Joshua, had he said some shit like, something like that about a Keith Thurman, who's a very articulate fighter outside of the ring, you know what I'm saying? You can hold a conversation with them outside of the ring, and they can convey a message properly. They can get that, they're not stuttering and stammering over their words. They can make a clear and concise sentence and a point. Yeah, that would be bigoted right there. That would definitely be bigoted. But when you look at somebody like Gervonta Davis, there's nothing wrong about necessarily what he said. He's not a deep thinker. He's not. He's not. When you hear him talk, the dude allegedly has a third grade education. In certain settings, he'll seem like a scholar. And on some street shit, you can sit in front of him and talk some street shit with him, and he's gonna be able to convey that message on a scholar-like level, because he's from the school of the hard knocks. Yeah, in that type of setting, you can definitely have a conversation with him. When it's time to sit down in front of a camera and someone is asking him questions that may make him feel uncomfortable, not necessarily because they're personal, but just because just how articulate the question is being asked. The vocabulary may be a little bit extensive for him, to where, I've been a victim of that as well. It took me years to get to a point I had to start expanding my vocabulary. So he's gonna be able to answer you in the capacity that he knows how, and it's not necessarily in an articulate one. It's honestly not, and that's okay. Well, it's not okay, but he's grown to be a successful man in life with that education that he has. Now it's up to him to actually want to educate himself. Deontay Wilder, he's trying diligently to step up his IQ. He's trying diligently. Now, his message still doesn't come off as clear and concise as a Muhammad Ali or somebody like that. But you can see he's actually sitting down at a table. He's reading his literature. He's digging into the crates on our history and our lineage as a people. He's embracing his African lineage, his African ancestry. Kudos. I love it. I love it. But he's still not there at a level, like he can't, like just after a while you be like, all right, bro. Like I think more so with him, he just tries too hard to be this incredible orator, and it usually fails, horribly to the point where it's cringeworthy. But he's another dude, like he doesn't really convey a really good message like that. He doesn't. But I think he's at a higher level of understanding and education than someone like a Trevante Davis. I definitely see that. I definitely think that. So I don't think that Eddie was. I don't think he was trying to be, bigoted in what it is that he was trying to say. I honestly don't. And as much as I want to bang on Leonard, I honestly can't. Because it's just certain words and phrases and sloganisms that's going to be triggers to us. It's going to be triggers. Now, are they? I think Stephen Espinosa is virtue signaling. I definitely think that. This ain't got nothing to do with you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Stay over there and mind your Latin business, bro. Stay over there and mind that. You dig? I hate when people latch on to us. Like, nah, bro. Don't worry about our struggles over here. If it was coming from a place of genuine concern, all right, then most definitely. And maybe it is coming from a place of genuine concern, but I think with him, I think he's still, I don't think it's coming from a place of genuine concern with him. I think it's coming from a place of trying to protect his investment once again and add to notoriety of a Trevante Davis. And I guarantee you, I'm gonna go on Facebook and I'm gonna see all the virtue signaling from these certain channels and content creators and forum with these forum creators. I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see it, and they're gonna be using tweets from him and Leonard. And I'm like, yo, man, what the fuck? What in the entire fuck, man? So I'm not too much mad at Leonard. I'm honestly not, man. It was the same, it's the same with Sergey Kovalev made those guerrilla remarks about Adonis Stevenson. It's the same thing with that. Like, all right, yeah, it's funny in games, but you have to, when you learn about our history, you understand how that particular remark right there is immediately correlated to us and our struggle up here and why we were so, mistreated. You understand, I'm really in my feelings about this shit. You know what I'm saying? I understand why Leonard Ellerbe is feeling the way that he's feeling, man. You dig? You study eugenics. And you understand, yeah, we were exterminated. They put pseudoscience on us, not us, but they use pseudoscience as a way, or eugenics is pseudoscience, to justify us being harmed and us being killed and pushing Planned Parenthood on us and all that shit, man. And having low IQ is a part of that eugenics ideology. So those type of slogans, those type of phrases, that shit is going to trigger somebody. I'm not even gonna cap. If this was a few years ago when I first started coming into consciousness, I'd be feeling some type of way about it. I honestly would be. I'd be one of them dudes ready to bang on Eddie Hearn as well. I honestly would. Because I think with a lot of white people, I don't think a lot of times, not all the time, I say the majority of the time is cap. But you're gonna sometimes have those the motherfuckers who just, they're clueless. I remember talking to this white guy I was working with, and he was one of them dudes who was like, man, if it went down today, y'all got a friend in me. I gunned down a white dude on behalf of y'all. He was genuinely like that. But we were talking, and he was telling me how him and his lady had got into it with this black chick, and his lady was Native American. She was indigenous. He was like, I don't know, man. It was this black, nappy-headed black woman. And I was like, well, I'm laughing because I'm like, I know for a fact you ain't got a clue as to what it is you saying and how insidious of a remark that is. So I'm laughing, and I'm like, you never want to use those words in conjunction. That's not even, nappy-headed isn't even a word that you want to use. He was like, are you serious? Like, and he had this, it was a genuine look of confusion on his face. I'm like, yeah, homie, that ain't the business. And he felt bad, like, God damn it. Fuck. So you're gonna have them type of scenarios where somebody is just completely oblivious to certain slogans and talking points and narratives that immediately correlate with us and will trigger an emotion in us. Sometimes they think as long as I ain't saying nigger or I ain't saying what's another one, nappy headed or ghetto, it's certain keywords that they'll refrain from using. It's certain keywords that they'll refrain from using because they know that immediately speaks to our struggle up here in America. And sometimes you just had them situations where it's like they're literally clueless. They're literally clueless. Eddie Hearn, and I'm gonna get flack for this because I don't think Eddie Hearn. I don't think he's, even though he comes from bigoted stock. Allegedly, his pops was an overt bigot. But I try not to indict you on account of of the stock in which that you come from, man. You look at me. I'm not a dude. Now, granted, there's no comparison between the two struggles up here whatsoever. So I'm not comparing this particular demographic of people with our struggle up here because it pales in comparison. But there is a struggle within this demographic of people that should be acknowledged and respected. But when it comes to the LGBT community, a lot of like my homeboys drop the F-bomb religiously. I got some homeboys that, I don't give a fuck, man. Fuck them blanks. You know what I'm saying? And they don't give a fuck about how you feel about it. I have removed that word from my vocabulary. I made a conscious effort years ago. I'll never forget this. One of my homegirls, she was a Chicana chick from Chicago. Clearly a stud. And I was already making a conscious effort to not say this word anymore. And I was doing real good. I think I told y'all before, I was doing real good with not saying it. And she came over there and we was having a conversation. And I was wilding on somebody. And I said it. I didn't get it all the way out. I said it enough to where it doesn't have to be the entire word, but just half of the word. By the time you say half of the word right there, that's bad. That's just as bad. But when I said it, she gave me like this real uncomfortable laugh, and as soon as I caught myself, and I was like, God damn it! From that day, and that was the Sergey Kovalev versus Andre Ward fight. Either that, no, I think it may have been the first Canelo versus Golovkin fight. And after that, I made a conscious, I'm not saying that word again. Now, my dogs, they gonna talk that shit. They gonna talk that shit. But I'm like, yo, man, these is my bros. You're not about to separate me from my bros. I don't always agree with the birds of a feather flock together narrative. I definitely don't. But I'm gonna just go get my shit for right now since I'm still talking. I definitely do not agree with that, but it's understandable. Like, oh man, if you rolling with them and you know what they're doing is bad and insidious to us, then you need to go on ahead and cut them off. I'm not doing that. They're my niggas. But I've talked to them about that. I've definitely talked to them about that. And they don't want to hear it. Hey, I'll let them waddle in their own, you dig, self-degradation, even though they're not degrading themselves in their eyes. It's a fucked up remark to make about somebody. It's a real fucked up and insidious name to call somebody and address somebody as. It's really inflammatory. They gotta wear that. But in some people's eyes, birds of a feather flock together. So you were just as guilty as them, even though you don't say the word no more. And I can understand that, even though you're not finna put that on me, but I understand their point. It's the same thing as it pertains to us. You come from that stock, you gotta wear that, unless you show me otherwise that you are definitely not of the same mindset or whatever stock it is that you come from. So I've made it my business not to indict any and every, I don't think that just, I believe that there's Klansmen out, people who have, they've had kids and they've brung up their kids in this real demonstrative type of setting and upbringing where it's down, my daughter says it's down with the Negro, white power, I definitely believe that, but you're going to have them kids, it's like, I don't subscribe to none of that bullshit, as we see more so in the now. But there's definitely backwood, rural area, Kentucky, Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee. Oh yeah, they down there. Even in Kansas, they down there. Up here, they up here. In Omaha, Nebraska. I've seen swastika signs sitting on the back, right out, not even in the backyard, hanging on people's front doors. I've seen that out here. I've seen Confederate flags. I've seen that. I've seen all that. So I definitely believe that in most cases than none, you're gonna have that individual who's like, nah, man, I agree with what it is that this is what I was taught, this is what I subscribe to, as far as ideology is concerned. But you're also gonna have the ones that's like, no, that's bullshit. Why? Can you clearly justify your feelings and your claims towards this individual people, not individual, but towards this individual demographic of people, outside of bullshit eugenics and propaganda? So I'm not about to I won't indict Eddie on that. I honestly won't. After you get to a certain age of maturity and understanding, you'll say, nah, man, you're gonna have to show me a little bit more than that shit right there. You're gonna have to show me a little bit more. However, I get not Eddie Hearn's, but Leonard Ellerbe's plight. I honestly do. I'm ambiguous in these type of situations, man. I don't think Eddie Hearn came off as demonstrative as they're making him out to be, but you definitely gotta watch your words. You definitely gotta watch what it is that you say to us, because we're sensitive people and we have every right to be that way. 400 years of oppression. Oh yeah, we have every right to feel some type of way. Creating an infrastructure of a country you've yet to be compensated for your, for your accomplishments. Yeah, yep. We got every right to be sensitive. We got every right to be sensitive. Laws being mandated, that justify the harm in us. Yeah, we got a right to be sensitive. We got that right. 13% of the population, 50% of the prison systems. Yeah, we have that right to be sensitive. We have that right. That isn't by accident. That's by design. Over police neighborhoods. Yeah. Aggressively over police. Yeah. Dope dropped off immediately in our neighborhoods. Yeah. We have that right to be. Yeah. We have that right to be sensitive. I'm sorry, but we do. I'm not sorry. It is what it is. Respect us, respect our plight. Understand what's coming out of your mouth before you voice it. And if you voice it, you got to stand on that if you're cognizant of what it is that you're saying. I don't think Eddie Hearn is cognizant of how insidious of a remark he made. And if he is, he got to stand on that. But I don't think that he was making that shit out of a place of bigotry. Javante Davis really talk like that, and Baltimore, they already talk like dude, and if you ain't from a certain cloth, you're not gonna have a clue what it is that they saying. It's definitely a northeastern accent, but the dude and the you, like, I don't know where that shit came from. They talk like that over there on the corner. I don't know what they doing over there. Like, that's how they talk. Like, it's weird. It's really weird. And he talks like that because homeboy is from, he from the soil. He's an official dude out. He's an official nigga out the mud. My people know what that means. Nigga straight out the mud. You know what I'm saying? He's an official dude. He's an official nigga. Super official. I bet when he hit the block in Baltimore, it's 100 Spartans at his back, ready to do whatever. All that nigga got, hey, yo, man, go ahead. Bud is the same way up here. Official nigga out the soil. Official nigga out the soil. It's a nigga who ain't even got a connection to Bud that'll go out of their way to gain that man's respect. They'll go out just because of who he is in the city. Don't even worry about it, champ. I handled that for you. Whether it's licks or whatever, just because he's garnered that level of respect in the city and in the streets. And I ain't talking about like he was sliding on niggas, busting on niggas or nothing like that. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about him just being around dice games and all that, crashing niggas at the September Fest, just doing, you know, mischievous bullshit. That's how you gain a rep in any city. And because of that, and because they knew, they saw the greatness in him at a young age, and because he'll walk in the park, and niggas, you know, niggas would be on, you know, their legs would be shaking and quivering, like, yo, man, I don't know if he gonna flash out on us or whatever. He's gained that respect. So Tank is the same way, you know, just having a following in it, because you come from a certain cloth, you come from a certain background. But in Tank's case, he does not know how to articulate a message properly. And that can be like, damn, homie, like, like, what is you really saying? So no, I don't believe Eddie Hearn meant that shit out of a place of out of being vile. I honestly don't. But I'm not about to argue with nobody who feels that he did. I won't, because I understand that as well. Gotta be, and when you get to that point where you're a promoter, you really gotta walk on eggshells, and you know about what it is that you you could have. Deep thinker, I can see, but I think it was, did he say unintelligent? He said something else outside of him being a deep thinker. That's an immediate trigger. That's an immediate trigger to us. Immediate, like that shit'll get you, what, man? Who the fuck you talking to, nigga? I'll knock your motherfuckers get to scrunching their face up and all that shit. You got me fucked up, nigga. That's how I go. You gotta be mindful of what it is that you say. And our play here in America is a bit more different than what goes on over there in the UK, over in these other countries. It's a bit more like, you know, hardened and like standoffish. What happened here in America was just extremely ungodlike and inhumane, and it happened to black people abroad. So I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not saying that we're better than anyone, man, but we're the face of black people internationally for a reason, both good and bad. We the diamonds in the rough because of everything that we done been through. You feel me? So I'm just saying, man, I'm not mad at people who are saying, you know, who feel some type of way at Eddie Hearn for saying that shit. I don't think it's virtue signaling on Leonard Ellerbe's behalf. Even though I can see, like, you already don't like him, so you're gonna do whatever it is you gotta do to further put smut on that man's name. I can definitely see a motive behind it. Most definitely. Most fucking definitely. And I feel like you probably, you know, trying to get Tank to come back home anyway, because that puts you back. You ain't about to be living in paycheck to paycheck no more, man. Whatever Tank makes, you gonna get a piece of that. So I definitely do think you trying to bring him back home to Mayweather Promotions. I definitely think that, because you've been radio silent since he pieced out on y'all. We ain't heard you say shit. Except, you know, liking certain tweets that's clapping at Eddie Hearn. Yeah, I could definitely see a motive behind what it is that you're saying, but that motive can also be triggered by certain slogans and catchphrases and words and verbiage. So I get it. I honestly do. I definitely understand Leonard's plight, but I don't think Eddie Hearn was coming out of a place of being, you know, deviant. I don't. I can honestly say that as a rational thinking man. I can say that shit. Stephen Espinoza, though, on the other hand, is virtue signaling. Get him the fuck up out of here. I do not, or maybe it is coming from a place of, yo, man, don't say that about, you know, come on, man, you got to be smarter. But like, I don't bang on behalf of the Latino demographic, but you will never hear me use the term illegal alien. I'm filling out, I had to go and register my gun permit, and all I'm seeing on this place, illegal immigrants, illegal aliens. I'm like, you know how disrespectful that is? That's a really disrespectful remark to make about a certain, you know, demographic of people, especially when you consider that they were here first. The rights, they have just as much of rights to this land as me and my people do. They didn't build it. I'm not saying reparations that I'm not saying that for them. But as far as being on this land, as far as not being chastised in the manner that they are, they have rights to this land because they were here thousands of years before European settlers got here, before they even discovered the New World in the 1400s. How you discover something in the 15th century and talking about, yo, how you discover something in the 15th century where it's populated at? That's wild to me. That's wild. That's wild. So I'm looking at all this. I'm like, yo, this shit crazy, bro. Like, y'all niggas is really on here just nonchalantly. Illegal immigrants, illegal aliens. I'm like, this is wild disrespectful right here. This is wild disrespectful. So you don't have to necessarily be speak to somebody's struggle and demographic in order to respect them. So maybe what Stephen Espinosa did, or what he said in that tweet, maybe that was coming from a place of genuine concern about black people's feelings. Maybe it was. I give him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't think so. I definitely don't think so. Why don't I think so? Because you're gonna do whatever it is you got to do to protect your investment. Y'all are already going under. So you're gonna do whatever it is you got to do to, preserve the integrity of Tank in particular. You ain't giving a fuck about no black folks. You giving a fuck about that money. Leonard's story, I'm understanding of it because, or his tweet, I'm understanding of it because of the relationship between black and white America in turbulent times throughout the early 20th century to the late 20th century. Even now, it's still a fucking tumultuous relationship. But anything prior to that, yes, it's coming from a place of pain. It's coming from a place of anguish and insecurity and just insensitivity. Y'all got me fucked up. So I'm not mad at him for that. I'm honestly not. I understand that. But I do not think that Eddie Hearn was being bigoted. I do not think he was being vile. I gotta really drive that point home. I honestly don't think he was being like that. I don't. But if he was, you gotta wear that, homeboy. You gotta wear that. And if you was, I'ma be on your ass. So, that's just how the cookie crumble, man. That's how I get it down. I'm all for the brethren, but I'm not about, painting, the generalizations and painting people with a broad, what they say, a broad brush. I'm not one of them dudes. I'm not one of them dudes. But I understand people who are one of them dudes. And you be having us fucked up, man. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling about it, man. I'll get with y'all later. Deuces.